Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Spread Zone, the only podcast dedicated to making you, our loyal listeners, some serious cash. My name is Riz, and as always, the show is brought to you by our great partners at FanDuel. Got the whole crew here, the man who lives and breathes this stuff, Tim McKernan, and of course, the man who is always grinding to find an edge.
I'd certainly like to grind.
Anthony Stalter. Not on Grinder, but grinding to find an edge.
Correct.
Although I would not judge you, Anthony Stalter.
It's a judge-free spread zone.
It is. Today's edition is judge-free.
It's always judge-free, fellas.
Yeah. Riz, we got something going on here. The podcast is performing well, and this guy, this Anthony Stalter, he's on a heater, brother. He's on a heater.
Let's not talk. The gambling gods do not. Tim, you are well aware that the gambling gods do not like.
I am, but
any
people want to know how we're tracking. And now, Riz, people are tweeting at him because they know that he's performing.
Well, one person did. Yeah.
Well,
a whopping one person.
Let's kick off segment one with the Tim McKernan recap of last week's picks.
The database.
Walk us through it, Tim.
I'm happy.
May I add, Riz, Tim is the true hero here because Tim actually tracks this.
Got the spreadsheet up.
Well, he's got, if you're watching
everything,
the Spread Zone, he's got his computer out.
I got the picks right.
He's our resident nerd.
That boy, and it couldn't be more accurate. Riz, you were really down on your picks, but you only went 3 and 4.
I know it's not.
But that's not bad. Like, I kind of figured we'd have some 1 and 6s, maybe some 0 and 7s pop up.
It's not. Well, compared to Anthony, I think I compare myself to Anthony.
Yeah, the Stalter.
It's early, boys. It's 2 weeks. Who knows? You never know when the gambling gods start to knock on the door and say, "Hey, it's your time."
Well, I was 3 and 4 last week, and maybe just.
It felt worse than it was. 3 and 4
compared to Anthony.
Well, Anthony's on a heater. It really could have been 6 and 1, but Riz 3 and 4, 1-0 on your lock. You decided to defy my play on South Florida. You said, "I'll take Miami, Tim, no problem," as your lock, and shipped it sweat free too.
17.5.
Yeah, and they covered sweat free even with the rain delay there. So 3 and 4, your number for the week. 1-0 on your lock, so that brings you to 10 and 10 on the season, 50%.
Okay,
that's pretty damn good against the number.
What do you have to be to make money?
55%. So you're right there. 2 and 1 on your locks, 10 and 10 overall against the spread. I finished in second on the week, and I'm second on the season. I went 4 and 3.
Nice.
1-0 on my lock. My lock was Missouri, Louisiana over. I always like to give people something that can cover it by halftime, and we brought it home by halftime. I went 0 for 3 in college, though, and that's the one thing that I really pay attention to, so I'm disappointed in myself there. But 4 and 3 overall in the week. I am now at 14 and 10 on the year, 58% against the spread.
Making money, baby. Profit. The bankroll.
And 2 and 1% on my locks, just like Riz, and just like Anthony, who really should have gone, Riz, 6 and 1 last week. He got a bad beat on the hook, and the number, by the way, at kickoff was lower than 3.5, and that was on Georgia, Tennessee. Georgia won with a field goal in overtime. Certainly Tennessee could have / should have won that game in regulation. Late missed field goal with time running out. Georgia wins, but doesn't cover, so Anthony misses that by a half point, but he goes 5 and 2 on the week, 0 and 1 on the locks. This guy's on a heater. He is 18 and 9 against the spread for a 67% ATS percentage.
Well, I think I didn't deserve the Georgia. Now, I know you were on Georgia too. We didn't deserve it. They were down 10 at one point. I kind of chucked that away. When they got to overtime, I'm like, maybe, but the math wasn't mathing, especially when Tennessee got the ball first. But I'm happy, especially since I had the Commanders Thursday night. I started 0 and 1. So to finish 5 and 2, I'm happy.
You should be happy. This guy's really sharp, though, because, again, I've got the spreadsheets in front of me. When you're on a team total or a game's over or under, you're converting at about a 90% rate so far. I mean, this guy's got, it goes back to the Iowa State, Kansas State Farmageddon in Dublin, and you were on the first quarter under. And I'm like, sounds good, I'll bet it.
Let's do it.
This guy's been on a heater since.
Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Well, all right, so before we get into our college football picks, if I asked you guys, what's something that is true for a majority of college football fans?
Angry.
Other than spending more time researching 19-year-old recruits than their own retirement plans.
Very true.
So 52% of college football fans admit they are superstitious when it comes to their favorite team.
Yeah.
And in fact, 46% have a ritual they will do to boost their team's odds of winning. So some of these superstitions are as simple as wearing a lucky t-shirt or a hat. Others are a little more extreme. One confessed to sleeping in my jersey the night before. Another claimed they bathe in hot sauce before the game to increase their team's chances of victory. Maybe I got to start doing stuff to get my picks a little better.
Chase down this Stalter.
35% of college football fans said they'd rather attend their team's biggest rivalry game than a friend's wedding. And when asked about the craziest things they've done to see their team play in person, one fan said they hitched a ride from California to Indiana. Took 3 days to get there. Another said, I chartered a private jet last minute to make it to kickoff after a business trip ran late. I see you there, high roller. One fan said they would quit their job to attend a game. Another said they called a radio station 100 times in a row to win tickets.
The college football fan is cut from a different cloth, and it leads to incredible highs and incredible lows, and that's why coaches are hired and fired and on the hot seat so quickly because of that kind of intensity.
Let's take our first break. When we come back, we're diving headfirst into Week 4 college football. Each of us has 3 picks to hopefully make you guys some money. And while you wait, make sure you hit up that beautiful blue FanDuel app and get those lines ready. We will be right back on the Spread Zone. All right, we are back on the Spread Zone. It's time to make some money on the college slate. So we've each got 3 games we're targeting this Saturday. All right, Anthony Stalter, I'm coming to you first. College football, who is your first pick?
I thought that if Florida was going to get back into the college football swing of things, the college, I wouldn't even say playoff, just kind of correct their season. It was going to come last week against an LSU team that really offensively hadn't hit the ground running yet. I had the under last week in that LSU-Florida game, wound up playing out perfectly. I don't like anything about Florida right now. Their defense is okay, but their offense, I thought Lagway was going to be more efficient. I thought he was going to be more explosive. He looks lost. And
5 interceptions, Riz.
Billy Napier is in big trouble. If Lagway plays like that again this week, this is going to be a blowout. I got Miami laying the 7.5 at home against Florida. Miami took care of business last week. It was not Grizz, you called it. It was not, didn't wind up being a trap game. And that's how Florida team, as we know, they destroyed. They lost to South Florida, same team that Miami blew out. So give me Miami minus 7.5.
Well, Riz, that provides me an opportunity to take a stand right out of the gate.
Oh,
I'm going Gators plus 7.5.
Okay.
I'm going Gators plus 7.5. I'm not sold on Miami in part, and I think it's of note that Florida's defense was good enough, and maybe it's LSU's offense is so problematic. They struggled at Clemson as well. But I think that there's going to be a large swell of thinking that Florida is in absolute disarray and Miami is so great. I'm not sold that they are. I'll take the 7.5, and I'll take the Gators in a play that I understand is bold, but I really like this week.
all right. For my first pick, Bill Belichick's North Carolina Tar Heels getting 6.5 on the road against the University of Central Florida. The Knights, as we all know.
Yes.
The UCF Knights. So UCF is 3-7 against the spread as a favorite since the start of last season. And the Tar Heels have covered their last 2 games with ease. So I'm taking the points. And the North Carolina Tar Heels plus 6.5.
All right, Riz is on the board. Bill Belichick earlier this week in the press conference called Central Florida Central, and that really irritated the Central Florida fans that he didn't know the name of the school. That bulletin board material down there in Orlando.
He probably really didn't know.
I think he really didn't know.
Yeah, one of the directional schools.
All right, back to you, Stalter. Your second pick.
Give me Michigan minus 2.5 at Nebraska. Bryce Underwood, each and every week I think is going to look better and better and more comfortable, certainly, but it's Michigan's defense that I think will tighten up. Dylan Raiola, the infatuation with Patrick Mahomes, the way he plays and all that, it was cute. Now it's kind of annoying. But I do think that this line is too short. I think what people are looking at is the way that Michigan played a couple of weeks ago against Oklahoma. They couldn't slow down
John
Mateers, thank you. And it wound up being he was the difference maker. But I didn't think they looked bad at all. And I think again Underwood's going to continue to play well. Michigan's got the horses defensively to neutralize Raiola. So give me Michigan -2.5 on the road.
I'm focused on that game, too. I'm intrigued to see what happens because I bet a lot of people will be on Nebraska since they're undefeated, but Nebraska really hasn't played anybody yet. The closest thing was Cincinnati winning in front of Travis Kelce when they played at Arrowhead. I'll be curious to see what happens on that. When I was thinking about taking it, I decided to go Big Ten, which is still weird to say, with Oregon. At home against an Oregon State team that I think may be one of the worst teams that used to be anyway, a Power 5 team. Oregon is going to put it on them. Dan Lanning loves to run up the score. Oregon -35.5 at home against former rival Oregon State.
All right, for my second pick, I'm looking at a big SEC matchup where I think we're getting great value on the underdog. Give me Auburn plus 6.5 on the road at Oklahoma. I think this line should probably be a little lower, and that 6.5 is likely the highest this number will get. This game features two teams that'll be trying to prove they're back to being relevant. And it has all the makings of a battle that comes down to the final drive. So I will gladly take the points in what should be a tight one.
Yeah.
So Auburn plus 6.5 on the road at Oklahoma.
Nice.
Anthony, your final college football pick.
So I was between two plays for my final. I was between laying the 10.5 with Ole Miss, who is expected to have Austin Simmons, the quarterback expected to play. They're playing Tulane. However, Tulane is very well coached. I think that Tulane can. This is one of those games where I can feel like Ole Miss gets a lead and Tulane starts to come back. The play that I'm going to go with is the one you just mentioned. I love Oregon beating the absolute, off the Beavers this weekend. Oregon State. I agree, Tim. Oregon State is horrendous. Shock this season, and Oregon feels like they're not getting any sort of attention. And that is when I think Oregon just lays an absolute beating. I could see like a 60-17 game. I think it's going to be an absolute disaster.
If there was an ability to bet like the decade, so to speak, of the final score for Oregon, I would bet the 60s.
Yeah.
I think that's where he goes. He loves to run it up.
He does.
He gets those guys fired up.
And the chirping's going to be there. It's the in-state ride. This is not your typical, what do they call it, the Civil War?
Yeah.
This is not your Civil War matchup on Thanksgiving weekend. This is going to be a disaster for Oregon State.
I share that opinion with you. I hate to go emotional. I'm a Missouri guy, but I really think Missouri might be a great team this year. And they're only laying 11.5 against South Carolina, a team that I was high on. I sat here at preseason. I talked about how much I love South Carolina and Clemson. Yeah. Both are probably done already. And we're sitting here on week 4 of college football. So well done, as always, by me. But South Carolina, Lenora Sellers and his health, a question going into this. I think Missouri's great. And I tried to stay away from it because I don't like to take in the alma mater. But a minus 11.5 is too good of a value for me because I think Missouri's going to score in the high 30s. I got to take the Tigers and lay 11.5, Riz. I got to do it.
In Sellers, just because our audience for them, we're taping this midweek.
Yeah.
So Sellers knocked out of last week's game in the second quarter. As of right now, he's questionable, but with the line being double digits, I think odds makers have a pretty good handle on him not playing. If he does that change your play?
It certainly is something that'll give me pause. My main reason for going for it is I think Missouri's offense, and again, because it's Missouri, it doesn't get the attention. I understand that. I'm not angry about it. They just have so many different ways to beat you, both through the air and on the ground. Ahmad Hardy and Bo Prabula are not household names, but I can't believe how good they are. And I just think Missouri's going to be able to put up a large amount of points, and I just would be really surprised if South Carolina could do that, because South Carolina looked bad before Sellers got hurt against Vanderbilt. Yeah. They struggled with a Virginia Tech team that just fired their coach and lost, 31-0 at home against Old Dominion?
Right.
I think South Carolina is got some problems, and I'll lay the 11.5, even if Sellers is out there.
All right, so you're a Mizzou alum.
Yes, I am.
Right,
Well, I got 8 hours left to knock out. I got to get around to.
For my final college pick, it involves a school where I wanted to go, but they didn't want me to go there.
The Cuse?
So I'm
guess.
looking for some points in the ACC. I'm taking the over 55.5, Syracuse versus Clemson.
Nice.
You're going over on Syracuse Clemson. Wow.
Over. Clemson's offense is due for a major bounce back game after a pretty quiet start, and Syracuse's offense has been on fire, averaging over 360 passing yards a game. The problem for the Orange is their defense is giving up almost 30 points a game.
That's a problem.
So this has got all the ingredients to be a shootout where both teams are comfortable trading scores all afternoon. So give me the over 55.5, Syracuse and Clemson. Yes, I wanted to go to Syracuse because I wanted to be like Bob Costas.
Yeah. I think we all probably at least thought about applying to Syracuse.
Oh, I did.
Oh, you did, and you got the rejection.
I got a rejection.
Oh,
if it makes you feel any better, I probably would have as well.
I'm certain I didn't even graduate from Missouri, so I know I'm not graduating from Syracuse.
Not yet.
It's all
Thank
good,
you,
man.
yeah.
Look where we are now. It's fine. Who knows if I would have gone there where I would have been. All right, that's a wrap on college football. When we come back, we're on to the pros. NFL Week 3. We're picking 3 games each. You don't want to miss it. Go to FanDuel right now and get a no-sweat first bet. You can't lose. We will be right back on the Spread Zone. All right, we're back for the final segment of the Spread Zone, brought to you by FanDuel. It's time for the big boys, fellas. NFL Week 3. Let's not waste any time. Anthony Stalter, start us off your first NFL pick.
Well, my Thursday night football play did not go well last week. I had the Commanders plus 3.5. I started 0-1, but I'm going to go back to the Thursday night football. I think the Miami Dolphins are an absolute disaster. I don't think Mike McDaniel coaches through week 4. Listening to his post game last week when he was all over the place, talking about, we didn't do the things that we needed to do to win the game. We were trying to win the game, and winning is what we're trying to do. Like he looked like a dead man walking. He's got no control over the team. I don't think he ever did. It was cute when his offense was working. It's not now. I think the Bills roll. I got the Bills minus 12.5. I know that Buffalo had some issues with Baltimore on Sunday Night Football, but Baltimore's just that good offensively. We saw a much better Buffalo team last week. Even against a team with the Jets that can run, they stopped that. I think this is going to be ugly. Miami's got to go to Buffalo, short week, no confidence after dropping the first 2. I think Buffalo wins by 17.
Yeah, that play was being considered in this chair, and I understand where you're coming from on it.
Tim?
Riz, I was thinking about it, man. I laid off, but it might be a play that I make when the time comes around on Thursday Night Football, because I could see that being like a 38-3 kind of affair that you get sweat-free cash to start your weekend. One of the ways that I have handled the NFL over the years is by when one strikes me as so strange that I lean into it, even as uncomfortable as it is. And the one that stands out to me for this week, the undefeated Colts getting a little attention, especially because of the way that game against the Broncos ended with the penalty, and then they got to re-kick it and win. And Daniel Jones going to Nashville against a Titans team that strikes me as right there with the Saints as potentially one of the biggest disasters in the NFL, along with the Dolphins. They're only getting 3.5, the Titans. That strikes me as a really strange number. And even though it's something that strikes me as totally anti-logical, I lean into it when it comes to the NFL. Give me the Titans and the 3.5 points against the Colts. Somehow they'll wind up covering, even though it doesn't stand to reason.
What was the game of the week last week? Giants, Cowboys?
As far as
entertainment
goes.
Yeah.
For my first pick, I'm taking the Cowboys, getting 1.5 on the road against the Bears. You're a Bears guy, right, Anthony?
I'm a Falcons guy, but I did grow up in Chicago.
You grew up in Chicago. Yeah. Bears secondary completely banged up.
Not great. Yeah, they lost some top corner.
Lions dropped 51 points on them.
21 maybe in one quarter. Yeah.
And I expect Dallas to have a similar field day. The line is already moving towards Dallas being the favorite, so I'm locking this in.
Yeah, so on a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Plus 1.5. So I'm grabbing the 1.5 while I still can.
Good man.
That's my first pick.
I like that. Dak Prescott looks very good right now. Very good.
Anthony, your second pick.
My second pick, Tim brought up a good point about when the line doesn't make sense, kind of follow that. And last week with Denver and Indy, that one stunk, but it just couldn't pull the trigger. This one doesn't make sense-ish because the Chargers only laying 1.5 right now. You're thinking, okay, the Chargers have looked really good thus far. Why only laying 1.5? But I'm gonna take them. I'm gonna take the better team right now. I know they're on a short week, but the Chargers laying the 1.5. Look, the Broncos did not look good. They should have won last week, but they didn't play great. They didn't look good against Tennessee in week 1. And I was high on Denver coming into the year. I thought their defense was going to be absolutely locked down. I thought that Drew Lock, he was going to be, a full 2 training camps in with Sean Payton. I thought he will look a little bit better. The fact is that Chargers team looks like it's in midseason form despite losing their
Herbert looks great.
Left tackle. Herbert has looked fantastic. And they're not just relying on the run. I mean, they're letting him throw deep in games now. Give me the Chargers minus 1.5. I think they're one of the best teams in football right now.
Yeah, they might be flying under the radar for how well they've played. Chargers minus 1.5 and the Broncos. I'm going to try to follow this Stalter total plan. I think people will assume it's going to be low scoring, and I think we've got value. J.J. McCarthy has looked rough. He's out. Jake Browning made the Bengals actually look good offensively. You might have been on, I think one of you guys was on the Jaguars-Bengals over.
I was
last week. Mm-hmm. And you got there because of Browning. So the number is only 42.5 for the Vikings and Bengals. Carson Wentz versus Browning. I'm going over. You're going to have some great receivers, and I think you're going to see that one cover easily, like I was on the Lions and Bears over last week. Vikings, Bengals, over 42.5 in the backup quarterback battle.
Yeah, when Burrow went out in that game, I was sweating because it was it was 14-7. Yeah. I mean, it looked good. I'm like, oh man, but you're right. Jake Browning came in. He played very well.
All right, for my second pick, I'm backing another road dog. Give me the Texans plus 1.5 at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Texans have one of the best defensive fronts in the league, and Trevor Lawrence does not look great.
Yelling at the coach. Actually, not even yelling, he just waiting.
And it looks like he's struggling under pressure. On the other side, C.J. Stroud has absolutely owned the Jags in his career. 7 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in 4 games. The Texans have the better quarterback and the better defense. It's that simple. So give me the Texans getting 1.5 at the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, final pick, Anthony Stalter.
Well, Tim set me up like a great hype man would. He's been hyping up my totals here. This one, I didn't even look at the number. I mean, I eventually looked at the number.
I think we're on the same play here.
I'm like, I don't care what the number is. I'm taking the over. It's that Monday Night Football clash between the Ravens and the Lions. The Ravens have hung 40-plus points the first 2 weeks. Turns out Green Bay is probably pretty good, if not the top team in the league, just behind Philadelphia. So the fact that the Lions went to Green Bay and got smoked in week 1, I think that has more to do with Green Bay, less about Detroit. Detroit looked like themselves with their offense last week. You've got weapons all over the place. Baltimore's defense looked shaky against Buffalo. We know Detroit's defense right now isn't up to snuff. It's 52.5. I don't care. I'm taking the over in the Ravens-Lions Monday Night Football game.
It's one of those games where I don't know if they can make it high enough. I am right there with you. That's my final play. Ravens-Lions over 52.5. And I love that it's one of those highlighted night games, too, because I feel like they tend to call that more favorably for offense. Ravens and Lions over 52.5, Riz.
All right, for my final pick, man, I'm going to do it. I'm going to a game with 2 undefeated teams in a playoff rematch. I'm taking the Rams plus 3.5 against the Philadelphia Eagles.
What?
They played them very well in Philadelphia last year.
The Eagles defense has a huge weakness at the cornerback spot, which the Cowboys exploited in week 1. Now they have to face a duo of Nakua and Devontae Adams. Sean McVay will find ways to create mismatches that the Rams will dominate. So I think the Rams can pull off the upset. So getting more than a field goal to me is a good value. So as of right now, it's plus 3.5. So lock me in at the Rams plus 3.5 against the Eagles. All right, now time for our FanDuel Locks of the week. The one pick we feel most confident in to make you some money this weekend. So let's start with you, Tim.
Well,
Tim, your lock of the week.
All three of us so far are 2-1 on our locks, and I'd like to see us all get to 3-1. I am going on the USC Michigan State over of 56.5. Lincoln Riley has one hell of an offense in Southern Cal, and Michigan State can put up some points, but even if you can't against the USC defense, you will put up points. 56.5 strikes me as something that's about 2 touchdowns off of where it should be. Over 56.5 for a game that will kick off at 11 p.m. East Lansing time. It's being played in L.A., but Michigan State fans will be up late to watch a shootout between USC and the Spartans.
Anthony, your FanDuel lock of the week.
I think the Saints will have the number 1 overall pick next April. They have also played much better in the first 2 weeks than I could imagine. Arizona also sluggish last week against Carolina, though, so maybe there's real issues with the Cardinals despite being 2-0. The 49ers went in there, though, with Mac Jones and threw it all over the place. I love the Seattle Seahawks at home laying 7.5 against the Saints. The Saints have been able to kind of chip away in late in games and kind of hang around. That will not be the case. I think the wheels fall off in New Orleans' first road game of the season. I'm laying the 7.5. Seattle got back on track last week, and I think they're a real threat to win the NFC West despite that bumpy start in week 1.
All right, so my FanDuel lock of the week, same game, but I'm hammering the under 41.5 Saints Seahawks. I'm not overthinking it. I'm just lock it in. Saints Seahawks under 41.5.
Seahawks 35, Saints nothing. I love
this.
Could well happen. We both cash.
The Saints defense has been pretty good. It's the offense that's horrendous.
Terrible.
Terrible.
They've been getting the ball to Alvin Kamara a lot, and my man's efficiency ratings not great.
So Saints defense has been standout. The Seahawks have one of the best defensive play callers in the league, who will definitely have a game plan ready for a weak Saints offense. So give me the under 41.5 for my FanDuel lock of the week.
Like it.
All right, I think that's a wrap for us.
Plays are in.
Plays are in. Quick reminder, all of our picks are made on the FanDuel Sportsbook app, so make sure you download it today. And, man, we're building our bankroll.
Yes, sir.
That's the name of the game. For Tim McKernan and Anthony Stalter, my name is Riz, and this has been The Spread Zone. Good luck, and may all your bets be winners.
We provide information about sports betting for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm gambling regulations in your state of residence. To participate in sports gaming, you must be 21 years of age or older and be physically present in a state where sports betting is legal. If you or someone you know has a sports betting or gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org for more information and further assistance.